and help from his holy chamber. The base of Mikdash, Umitziyin, that's from Jerusalem. Isadeka, she should send help. Yizkir kol michosecha, he should recall all your flour offerings, matzahs, that were brought to the base of Mikdash. A tefach, they were a fistful thick. Vo'ilasacha, and your burnt offerings, which were animal offerings. Yudashna Sela, remember, review 3 animals where you could bring this a base of Mikdash. Hannah, welcome back. We missed you. 3 offerings were possible in the base of Mikdash. There are 10 kosher animals in the world, 10 species, not 9, exactly 10, like the 10 Commandments. That's amazing. But of these 10, 7 are wild animals, like the deer and the antelope. The deer and the antelope play, and never is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. But 3 out of the 10 are kosher, and they are cattle and sheep and goats. Birds are not animals; they're fowl. Okay, so the offerings that you brought from animals, burnt offerings, should be remembered in a good way. And we should then Hashem will grant our requests, and we will rejoice in your salvation. B'Shem Eloheinu nidgel, and raise the banner of Hashem on high. Yamale Adonai kol mishalisecha. Hashem should fulfill all your requests. Ato yodaiti, now I know, ki Heshia Adonai Mashiach, that Hashem saves his anointed Redeemer, and all his children are called anointed ones. Yaneu Mishmei Kodesh, he answers from his holy heavens. B'gevures, with might, salvation from his right hand. Some come with their chariots, their armored vehicles, others with their cavalry, and the equivalent, modern day equivalents. We come with the name of God on our lips. Hema kardu v'nafalu, they stumbled and fell, v'anachnu kamnu v'niseidat, and we rose up, and we are stalwart, standing still after thousands of years. There's something we have to impress on our young people, that we have to be proud of our. It's not that we owe something to someone else, but we owe to ourselves to be proud of our distinguished heritage. We come from very, very great people. Sometimes when a young man decides to marry out, heaven forbid, so he goes to the rabbi, and the rabbi says, there's a whole chain of families, thousands of years, you're going to break the chain. He says, so other people keep the chain going, He doesn't realize that it's like he's throwing away one of the most precious things he has. For a king to abdicate his throne, to step down and say, I don't want to be a king, I want to be just an ordinary guy. I don't want to be anything special. It's foolish, extremely foolish. It's like a Cadillac saying, I'd like to be a motorcycle or a scooter. I'd rather be a scooter than a Cadillac, or whatever kind, or a Lexus, whatever car you think is. Adonai Hashem should answer us. He is our King on the day that we call through him. Chapter 10. We're in chapter 10. Hannah, we finished chapter 9.
Oh, my. Wow.
Chapter 10. Okay, so when a person, now we're dealing with the war. When a person will fight against the evil in the left side of his heart and overcome it. And the evil no longer causes any problems to him. He doesn't suffer from temptation anymore. So he could think that he's a tzaddik. He could think he's a tzaddik. So the Alter Rebbe comes to tell him, listen, Ubala, it's not so simple. It didn't necessarily get there. Between a Beinoni and a tzaddik is a vast ocean. It's a huge, vast ocean, a deep ocean, separating the two. Okay, going through this again, very quickly, just for the sake of those who weren't here, starting on page 150. When a person will struggle to overcome with his divine soul, to overcome his animal soul, like it says in the Torah, you shall absolutely get rid of the evil within yourself, meaning within your communities. That's talking about idol worship. And spiritually, it means in your heart. To get rid of the evil in your heart, and he's succeeding. But he's still got this ocean in front of him. Why? How do you know? Because the evil didn't become good. The war is over when the evil in the left side of the heart becomes good. So you now have two right sides of your heart. How does blood circulate when you have two right sides? That's physically, that's a problem. But spiritually, it's a power. You'll become a powerhouse. And that's what it says. You should love the Lord your God with two vases. The second vase is for the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. You should love Hashem with both sides of your heart. And if you're not there, you didn't get there, then page 151, towards the bottom, you're called an incomplete tzaddik. You're not complete yet. You still got a long way to go to Tipperary. A long way to go to convert the left side of the heart into good. And therefore, this person is also called a tzaddik who's incomplete and a tzaddik who has evil. Tzaddik v'ra lo. He still has evil in the left side of his heart, lurking there out of action. It's not doing anything, but it's there. He didn't get rid of it. Who got rid of it? Chapter 1, Tanya. David HaMelech got rid of it. He got rid of the evil in the left side of his heart through fasting. Fasting doesn't mean dieting. Fasting means not giving in to it even one incy-wincy fraction of an inch. Not 1 inch. You don't let it in until it gives up, totally gives up and says, okay, so let me be with you. So the evil on the bottom, page 151, finds no expression. He doesn't have any desires for negative things anymore. But when it's totally nullified before the good, like if a drop of milk falls into a cholent, it's just one drop as opposed to 10,000 times the amount of kosher cholent, so it's nullified. But strictly speaking, it's still there. So therefore, page 152, the tzaddik could imagine that he doesn't have any evil left in him and that it's gone. Aval be'emes, second paragraph, 152, and the truth is, elu chalav v'halav le'legamri, if the evil had in fact gone away for good, had been converted into something good, called harasha bay, all the evil in him, it became good. It would have become completely good. Okay. Now this is where we got up to yesterday. And then the person will experience what's called a deeper level of love than he or she ever experienced before, which is called Abba Tainugim, that all his delight is only in Hashem. Page 153. How do we understand this? Biur ha'inyan. Kihine tzaddik gomer. So we have to understand, we never spoke about this yet. Who is the tzaddik gomer? Who is the complete tzaddik? He is a person, the evil in him that he is born with, or we had a suggestion yesterday, maybe he's not born with it, maybe he's just born with the potential to be a tzaddik. It's a debate. Is a tzaddik born a tzaddik or does he become a tzaddik? Either way, he has to become. He has to become much, much more. And a tzaddik gomer is one who has transformed any negativity into positivity. So that's what it means. From page 1, we had the question in the Tanya. What does it mean between what's a tzaddik b'toiv loy, but tzaddik b'ra loy? And the suggestion back there was the tzaddik b'toiv loy means everything goes good for him. Toiv loy means it's all good. It's all good. And tzaddik b'ra loy means he suffers. Because we see a lot of tzaddikim suffer in their life. But that explanation is not satisfactory. Now we're coming to a deeper explanation. Tzaddik b'toiv loy means he has 2 yetzer tovs. It's like the toiv loy is in addition to the toiv that he already has. He's now acquired a new level of toiv, a deeper level of toiv, which is born. It's like the light that comes out of darkness. It's more intense. And that's why I say that a Baal Tshuva, why they say a Baal Tshuva stands, where a Baal Tshuva stands, even tzaddikim cannot stand there. Because they've converted the negativity of their past into toiv. And a regular tzaddik never goes there. Never had any negativity to convert to toiv. It's a deeper level of good. So therefore he's called a tzaddik gomer and a tzaddik b'toiv loy. How do you get there? Who are you? Hasaras habagadim hatzoyim. Okay, now you find out the bitter truth. This is something that's fascinating to know, but very challenging and hard to digest. And that is that the way to get to this level, which everybody wants to get to that level, would like to be able to get to that level, is that you have to, it's through tremendous self-discipline and overwhelming love of that which is good. And therefore, so there's 2 ways. The way of discipline is called musar, that I recognize something negative immediately and I put my foot down, like on Purim, I put my foot down to the name of Haman, mention the name of Haman to me, I'm going to stamp my foot. No, you're not coming into my life, not in my Dalet Amos, not in my premises. And the other way is through great love. Since I love the Rebbe, Hashem, God, Torah and Mitzvah so much, since I love them so much, I'm just not interested in anything else. Not interested. So in this way, negativity gets left behind. Like, in the early days of rocketry, so they used to have 3-stage rockets. You girls weren't born yet. I remember that the first stage of rocket was very powerful for us to get the rocket out of the pull of the Earth's gravitation. And then after a certain level, the weight of that rocket was a drag. And it would impede the progress of the rocket, so it'd have to get rid of it. It would automatically drop off, and the second stage rocket would kick in. And that would give the rocket thrust to get out of the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so the same thing happens here. Now, through great love of Hashem, all the negativity of I am not going to give in to any negativity, that just gets left behind. That's not the issue anymore. No one's talking about getting rid of negativity, of not giving into negativity. There is no negativity. There's only positivity. And even the awareness of negativity is a negative fact, becomes a negative thing, and we leave it, and a person just serves Hashem with love. So therefore, the tzaddik, since the negativity is converted to good, becomes a tzaddik who only knows good. And how does he get there? Who al yedei hasaras habagadim hatzoyim, he has to get rid of all the dirty garments. What are your dirty garments? Before you go to the wedding, you have to take your clothes to the cleaners. If your clothes got dirty, you have to take them to the cleaners. And if there are stains, you have to figure out how am I going to get the stains out of the clothes. Because at tzaddik gomer, there's no stains. There's no stain in his character. There's no stain in his thoughts, no stain in his speech, the way he looks at things, the way he listens to things, the way he does things. These are called the Godim, the garments of the soul. The garments of the soul are thought, speech, what you think, what you do, what you say. And any negativity in these garments, thinking bad thoughts, saying bad things, doing not nice things, they're like stains, like someone spilling tomato sauce on your beautiful white chiffon blouse. So what we have to do, we have to get rid of all the filthy garments of the soul, which are thought, speech, and deed, the selfish thoughts, selfish words, pride, jealousy, anger, negative feelings. And he goes on, he's not interested in sushi and Viennese table and delicious cakes and delicacies, all kinds of delicacies that might serve at a fancy wedding. All these delights, they're physical delights. You like the taste and you want to have more. I really want to have more. And the Beinoni really wants to have more. The tzaddik says, oh, he's not interested. He is not interested. He's not interested. They came to Hillel, the great teacher Hillel, you know, all the Hillel houses. People don't know who Hillel was. Hillel was a person, when they came to him and told him, Rabbi Hillel, you have to eat something. You didn't eat. He says, all right, I'll listen to you. I have some mercy on this poor creature, meaning his body. I just read a fascinating story about the Baba Sali, the great tzaddik of the Moroccan Jews. The Rebbe told him to be in Israel. He wanted to be in New York by the Rebbe. The Rebbe told him, you stay in Israel. Your people are there. They need you. So one day, Reb Mordechai Eliyahu, the chief rabbi in Israel, of Jerusalem, another rabbi was visiting him and said, you know, I'm going to the south in the Tivot, where Baba Sali is. Would you like to arrive? Would you like to come along with me? He said, yes, I would love to see the Baba Sali. And he asked his wife if she would like to come along. She said, yeah, sure. And she got out a bus table, a timetable to figure out when they would get the bus back, and so on. And they got to Netivot, and they went to the house, and the Rebbitzin said, you can't see my husband, he's in meditation. Can't see him. So they were very upset. Well, not Mordechai Eliyahu, his wife was very upset. Because they'd gone to the whole trouble of coming and they weren't able to see the tzaddik. And suddenly the door opens and the tzaddik comes out, the Baba Sali comes out and says, let them in. I've been waiting for them for 5 days. I've been waiting for them all this time. So Reb Mordechai Eliyahu went in to be with the Baba Sali and his wife stayed outside. And the Baba Sali's Rebbitzin said to her, maybe you could convince my husband that he should eat something. He hasn't eaten in 5 days. He didn't eat in 5 days, not at night either. He was mamish fasting totally. Why? Because there was a decree hanging over the Jewish people, and he was fasting and praying to abolish this decree, that no harm should come to anybody. And now he was in a room alone with Mordechai Eliyahu, and after some time they came out, and now the Baba Sali was smiling, his face was radiant, and he said, come, let's eat. And they sat down, they ate together, and they prayed, and they sang, and they rejoiced. The decree had been abolished. So you have to understand the story, what's going on here. This friend didn't just show up by Mordechai Eliyahu. the Baba Sali arranged that he should be there. The Baba Sali wanted the chief rabbi, Mordechai Eliyahu, who was a Makubal, a mystic. He wanted him to help him to get rid of this decree, and he came, and so that's why they're so happy, and that's why they could eat together. You understand? But that's the kind of fasting that we're talking about. The Baba Sali was not really anxious to finish his fast so he could have a Slurpee. The pleasures of the world have no interest for him. Namely, to fulfill the pleasures of one's body, which is the physical appetite, and not to use all his inclinations for the service of Hashem. All his pleasures have to be for the service of Hashem. Because all these pleasures come they come from the other side. They come from klippas noiga. If they're permissible, they're kosher, that is klippas noiga. And if they're not permissible, like if somebody wants to have shellfish or shrimps or lobster or things that are not permissible, then it's coming from klippas satzamei, impure klippas. And at the bottom of page 153, and anything that is coming from the Sitra Achra, even in the slightest degree, the Tzaddik Gomor Soine Betachlis Hasina, he hates it, he despises it, it's disgusting to him, he's ready to vomit. Makes it, it's like they say in Beis Rivka, it's a misuse of English, by the way. In Beis Rivka, it's nauseous. Nauseous is how you feel. You feel upset stomach. You feel nauseous. You feel like you're going to vomit. Yeah. But that's how they talk in Beis Rivka here. Something is repugnant. They say the thing itself is nauseous. And that's how the tzaddik feels about anything that's just a purely physical pleasure that you want to get another helping and another helping. It's just so good. It's so yummy. It's so delicious. Page 154. Mahmas Godel Avose, where does this come from? Why does he find sushi and yummy bagels and lox and herring, lox and cheese? Yeah, why does he find it so repugnant, so nauseous? Yeah. Because of his tremendous, overwhelming love of God. That's called love of the lights. This is called an Ava Rabba. Now we learned in chapter 3 that through meditation on the greatness of Hashem, looking around the world and being cognizant and aware of the greatness of things, thinking about it, think about what makes the sun travel tens of thousands of miles so quickly across the sky. What makes the moon stay in its orbit, never wears out. Everything wears out. The sun and the moon don't wear out. How come? How come there's a fire burning in the middle of the earth? It doesn't go out, heaven forbid. How come? What keeps it going? Great, tremendous powers, if you think about it. So you've developed an awareness of the greatness of Hashem. That's a specific terminology in Hasidus, to be aware of the greatness of Hashem's creation. And then you have a feeling in your mind that if Hashem is so great, I should really be connected with him. I would really want to be connected with him. That's the beginning of a feeling of love in your mind for God. And then that can go down your spine to the heart, and the right side of your heart, you're going to develop a feeling of fear of being separated from God. And then in the next stages, you're going to develop a feeling of love. You want to be together with Hashem. And that's how it goes. And then we get to what we called in chapter 3, a very strong love. Very strong. Ava Aza, a very strong, powerful love. Well, what we're talking about here now is much more than that. What we're talking about now is called Ava Rabba. Rabba means great, overwhelming love. Then a person wants nothing else. And therefore, like it says here in the English, because of the tzaddik's great love for God and holiness, he utterly despises the klippa and sitra. It's just like you know how we feel about what's going on in Israel. And if some murderer from the Hamas people would show up here, how would you feel? You wouldn't feel merciful towards him. Poor fellow, he had a bad upbringing. You would despise such a person. A murderer filled with hatred. Amalek, we're going to read about Amalek, this Shabbos, the first of the non-Jewish people to attack the Jews with hatred, desire to kill every single Jew. That's why we see that people like the Hamas people and the Nazi people, they seem rooted deeply in such a source. Because Kihaim, page 154, Haim Zelium, feelings of holiness and feelings that come from Klippa are two absolute opposites, such complete opposites, and they're related in an inverted relationship one to the other, that the greater the love, the greater one hates the opposite. So the hatred that a tzaddik feels for Klippa is in an inverse proportion to the love that he feels for Hashem. And we see this in the Tilim of David HaMelech. It really, it requires a lot of study. We recite Tilim, we just say the words, but there's a lot going on in the Tilim. There's a lot going on there. It says, Tachlis Sina Sinaisim. David HaMelech says, he's talking about enemies to the Jewish people. But we understand that it also means spiritually, with a tremendous, overwhelming hatred, I hate them, meaning the negative feelings of the Klippa in his heart. He hated them, and that's how he got rid of them. This is Tehillim. What chapter? Chapter 139 of Tehillim. You can look it up. I think it's, towards the end of the chapter. They were like enemies, warring enemies to me. Hakreni says, check me out, Hashem. Hakreni, look into my heart and see, I know what's in my heart, that I'm telling you the truth. And according to the amount and the intensity of his love for Hashem, so in the opposite side of the coin is his hatred to the Sitra Achra, to the other side, Amius, and the extent to which he absolutely despises anything that's evil, the tachlis, with a total hatred. Because hatred of evil is the opposite, page 155, hatred, it's the opposite of love, mamish, kamei hasina. Thank you very much. You see, we're moving a lot faster now because you're familiar with all these things. We've discussed it so many times in the earlier chapters.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a wonderful Shabbos. By the way, on a personal note, this Shabbos is for myself, a very special Shabbos, for two reasons. One, my grandson will be learning the Torah for the first time. He had a bar mitzvah this Tuesday night. So he's going to be learning the Torah on Shabbos. And going back 52 years. 52 years ago on this Shabbos, Parashas Zohar, I came to a Chabad institution for the first time in my life and celebrated Shabbos with Chabad for the first time in my life. And Motzi Shabbos was Purim. I celebrated Purim for the first time in my life. And Motzi Shabbos, there was a Farbrengen, a hookup, and we were able to listen to the Rebbe speaking in the Farbrengen in New York that night, which went from 2 o'clock in the morning where I was in England until like 5 in the morning. And I thought I was listening to a prophet from the days of old, Isaiah or Jeremiah or somebody. I never heard anything like it. I never heard anything like that. I didn't understand what the Rebbe was saying. A word here, a word there, I understood because of the language, some background in languages. And one of the shluchim there translated between the sikhs told us what the Rebbe had been talking about. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I said to myself, this has got to be, the most superior, outstanding human being in the world. I was sold. One Shabbos did the trick.
Wow.
The story, when the Rebbe was in the hospital, Israel, after his stroke, he was lying there, he was totally out of it. But he wasn't mentally just physically, he couldn't do anything. He was on machine support and so on. So one of the nurses on the floor related that when she went to church on Sunday, the priest said, I would like everybody to join in a prayer for the well-being of the Rabbi of Lubavitch. He needs a cure. And he is the holiest person in the world today. So she went over to him. She said, Father, I was very surprised to hear you say that. I always thought you felt that the Pope in Rome was the holiest person in the world. He said, no, the Rabbi of Lubavitch is the holiest person in the world today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Shabbos, girls. Parsha Zohar.
Thank you, Lord. Right?
You know what?
So what do we have today? No, like in general, for the whole process.
Oh, we were doing Kama Shabbos.
What exactly? Like.
Which one? We did a lot of, like, we focused a lot on tying. A lot of them was very quick where it was like weaving and stuff.
So we did like knots and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of knots can you do?
That's not what we left off
Is
on.
that it?
But we started another one that was
Sewing?
sewing, yeah. That's where we left off.
Like a few things were so short. And then kind of thing was another, right?
Anna,
Yes.
I'm making a video with all the girls from the Mahon.
Oh.
To show up.
What do I do?
Only hi, I'm Anna. Soy de is the same of I'm from and your state.
Do we need to do it now?
Your comment.
No. Can we do it later?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I would love to.
Okay, just
I love to do it. but-
if I forgot, just
Okay.
tell me, okay?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because it's my last day here.
And then we're like in the
Is
middle.
it last day? When are you reading? I'm sorry.
We're
On
like-
Sunday. Whenever, it's Sunday, okay, so we'll.
But actually we are going to go together to.
Yeah,
That is me.
we are.
Okay, we started spinning.
We did it.
Okay.
But we finished.
Yeah, so I'm saying we went through spinning and then we're gonna go stuff. We did it all. The last was very-
Oh.
Like the weaving.
I'm gonna
was
be
very
active.
quick, and we still
Uh,
So-
Anda divulgado la.
They were in the middle.
Por acá.
Yeah.